So you're joining us now from Vilnius, Lithuania. To your knowledge, is Yevgeny Prigozhin or any of his forces now in Belarus?
So first of all, small remark. Lukashenko is not the president of Belarus. He's a person who seized power and keep Belarusian people as hostages. Going to your question, we actually don't have confirmation that Prigozhin arrived in Belarus. The information about Wagner's camps in Belarus is not confirmed either. There is a lot of disinformation right now, but the goal of this is to mislead and to suppress the will of Belarusian people to resist. But nevertheless, I don't know what Prigozhin intends to do in Belarus, but he's definitely not welcomed in our country. He's a war criminal and he can bring the war to Belarus, and we don't want that. We heard from Prigozhin today that Lukashenko promised him to legalize the Wagner group. What it means in practice, we don't know. There are rumors that Wagner wants to open military bases in our territory. Of course, if it happens, it can create a serious threat to Belarusian sovereignty. Just imagine thousands of foreign troops on our territory. Yeah. Prigozhin might be involved in military training, trade of arms, or whatever.
To your point, I know you and your team say
banishment.
Sorry, we lost you for a moment there. Finish your thought.
Yeah, just had interesting opinion today that we don't know if banishment of Prigozhin is deportation or his mission, for example, to make provocation in Belarus on the eve of NATO summit in Vilnius.
Yeah. You have said that if Prigozhin and his forces were to come to Belarus, or his presence there confirmed, that would be a threat not only to Belarus, but also to neighboring countries, including NATO allies, such as Poland. What threat exactly?
Of course, it's not excluded that Prigozhin, first of all, could be involved in another attack on Ukraine from Belarus territory. However, Ukraine is much better prepared than 1 year ago, but also it can create threat to Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and other neighbors, as I said, to create provocations on the border, for example. Because soon there will be NATO summit in Vilnius, Lithuania, and it can distract attention. It can make Lithuania to strengthen their military presence on the borders. So many scenarios can be.
That is an alarming prospect, trouble on the border with NATO allies. As you know, Russia has said it is moving or has moved nuclear weapons to Belarus. Is it your belief that it has already moved them there? And if it does, what is that threat to Europe?
Actually, of course, it might, deployment of nuclear weapon, first of all, it's a risk for Belarusian people themselves, because this deployment will anchor the presence of Russia in our country for many, many years ahead. And even after changes, it will be difficult to get rid of this weapon. As I hear from our NATO partners, they say that it doesn't mean a lot for them if nuclear weapons deployed in Belarus. But we ask them to look at this from the point of view of Belarusian people, because it makes Belarus a target for possible counterattack. And of course, this nuclear weapon will be closer to our neighbors.
Lukashenko, as I know you believe, and there's a lot of evidence, is really a puppet of Putin's. Would Prigozhin, if he goes to Belarus, be safe there, or would his life be in danger?
I think that this story with Prigozhin cannot be over. It will have its prolongation, because if it wasn't prepared scenario, for example, let's take it as for granted, so Putin or Prigozhin himself, they would like to take revenge, Putin for this humiliation, and Prigozhin for just to show, to prove that he's not agree with the military power in Russia. And it also was humiliating for him because he had to return back, having only 200 kilometers to Moscow. But of course, the story is not over.
But before we go, I wonder, you know that Putin does not like challenges to his own leadership and power. Lukashenko is his man, in effect, in Belarus. Is your life in danger for challenging Lukashenko?
I think that the life of and freedom, actually, of every Belarusian who is opposing the regime and who is opposing the war, their life and freedom is in threat. Because, of course, Lukashenko, it's also a humiliation for Lukashenko that people for 3 years in a row opposing him and don't give up. And we see how we deprive regime of legitimacy, we deprive regime of political space on international arena, and thanks to our allies, thanks to the USA, we create economical pressure on the regime. Of course, I can't feel safe, but now we have to pay attention to the safeness of people who are in Belarus, who can be detained at any moment. Actually, every day, 10, 15 people in Belarus detained every day without weekends.
Mm-hmm. And I know among them your husband. Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya, thanks so much for joining us, and we wish you safety going forward.
Thank you.
Boris.